Sis and Tell, Sis and Tell. A whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up. Alison's on TV. And when they hop on the phone, it's the place you want to be. Sis and Tell. A whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, are you watching? I'm jumping in because I'm so excited. Are you watching the U.S. Open?
Really?
Oh, my gosh.
I think you know the answer to that. Am I watching sports on TV? No.
Okay, well.
At least I know what the U.S. Open is. That's bowling,
You're
right?
missing.
No.
You are professional bowling, please. Yeah. Okay. I've played a little tennis just as an adult, not as a child. And play is actually a generous word. I took a tennis clinic for like 3 or 4 years. It was more social than active. But the point is, I do love watching tennis. I don't like watching my own kids play tennis because it is painful. I actually once wrote a column saying there is no love in tennis. There's part of the scoring. That was a double entendre. Thank you. That's cute. Because watching your own children play tennis has got to be one of the most nerve-wracking, stressful things in life. Luckily, my kids have now outgrown tennis. Well, not outgrown it, but outgrown the competitive side. All of this to say, I love watching professional tennis or tennis that doesn't involve someone who's related to me by blood.
I tried playing tennis when I was 12, and I got kicked off the court because, number one,
you're afraid of balls.
Well, we were talking too loud. And number two, I kept on hitting the ball into the other people's courts.
That's a problem.
I didn't mean to.
You're the only one who yells "for" while playing tennis.
Exactly.
Anyway, Serena Williams, this is her swan song.
Yeah.
She is retiring. If you hadn't seen or read the Vogue article on her, beautiful. She is amazing. If you haven't seen King Richard, which is the story about really how their dad fostered, he not only planted the seed, but fostered and grew them into, she and Venus, into world-class tennis players that have literally changed not only the dynamics, but the complexion, literally the complexion of the sport and the access for women and women of color. The story's amazing. So I'm obsessed with them as it is. But Serena is 41. She has a child, right? She is, I'm going to do what I don't do on this podcast and curse. She is a badass woman. And she is, like she says last night, she just beat the number 2 seed. I think every time she plays, people are expecting that to be it. They keep re-showing this Oprah video that she made on her. They're like, and here's the Oprah video again. But she, as she said last night, since she started winning in 1998, she has had a mark on her back. And now she is playing for the joy of the game. And this is the final chapter in this part of her story. I know there's plenty more chapters that she has yet to write. But to watch her go out with such dignity, grace, strength, and triumph is so inspiring. So she's going to play again, I think, Friday night. So I'm telling you, I know you don't love tennis. You have got to watch her play. It is poetry in motion. It's incredible.
Don't even know if we have access to live TV. I have to.
So just find it. I will give you an access to something. I will.
Much to Daddy's chagrin, by the way, because when they come visit, I have to teach him over and over again how to use the TV in the guest bedroom because it's a smart TV.
Yeah.
For a lot of not so smart people. By the way, they just came to visit. They were here for 24 hours, and it was as if they were moving in. I don't know why they brought so much stuff. They brought maybe 8 different outfits. Mommy had a box I was carrying into her room, and I'm like, what is in this box? It was a file folder with her birthday book. Okay? I'm like, we have technology. That's what she said, just in case. I'm like, but we have technology.
No, but
right?
It's all
to set up
explain
reminders.
The birthday book. Not everybody understands. I understand the birthday book because I have one because she gave me one.
Do you use it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I use Facebook as my birthday book. The birthday book is the Facebook notification about whose birthday's coming up. And so
But not just that. Anniversaries. Probably yard sites. It's got everything in there.
Random stuff.
Yeah.
But she will go, she sends birthday cards to everyone. No offense if you haven't gotten it.
If you haven't gotten it, there is offense. She sends it to everyone.
But no, she doesn't have your birthday or your anniversary. If it's not in the book, It doesn't happen.
Right. No, she sends these cards. Our friends moved from Chattanooga to DC, and I think they were still literally unpacking their first box, and they get a card from mommy. Like, happy birthday. Happy anniversary.
Congratulations
She
on the
tracks them
move.
down. It's amazing.
Right.
Can I go back to the U.S. Open? I wasn't done.
This is the anniversary of your first period. Congratulations.
So wait, besides Serena,
Yeah.
and just me being in awe of her and love watching her, the first match she played in, they show in the stands, they love to show famous people. So the other night it was Tiger Woods. Spike Lee is always there. The first night I was watching, Bill Clinton is there, and he is sitting next to Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Who, Dr.
Oh
Ruth.
my, yes.
It's amazing. So you can't hear them. You just see, and she's this tiny little woman, and everybody knows Dr. Ruth Westheimer, and she's talking to Bill Clinton, right? Here she is, like,
That was good.
unbelievable. Thank you. I don't do many impersonations. She's one of my good ones. Talk about badass. Like, this woman, she's
How old is she? She's
oh my
still
God,
alive?
140 maybe. No,
Seriously?
She
She must be
was
so
part of
old.
like the Kinder transport and was one of the children saved during the Holocaust. She ended up in Israel. She was a sniper in the IDF. I mean, she's got this unbelievable story.
94.
94 years old. So she's talking to Bill Clinton. He's laughing. She is like in all of this little, probably 4'9" power and authority. You can tell she is like talking to him. And Chrissy Everett, who she and John McEnroe are the two old timers who are now no offense, but are doing all of the commentating. So Chrissy's like, oh, look at this. It's Dr. Ruth, and she's talking to President Clinton. And so what is she saying? And so John's like, I don't know. What do you think she's saying, Chrissy? He's like, she's saying, President Clinton, Bill, don't do that. Don't do that again. Don't do that. And I was laughing so hard. That was also the highlight of my US Open watching experience. So
Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Have you ever gone to watch that live?
I have. We went about 5 years ago. We decided we took the boys, one of those bucket lists, because, they all three played tennis growing up. And again, we love the sport. So, and it's always Labor Day weekend. So we went and made it a weekend in New York, and we got tickets. I got to see Nadal play, who also talk about the GOAT. Serena is the GOAT. Nadal's the GOAT. There are lots of GOATs out there right now who are on the verge of retiring. But I highly recommend. That's just fun. And even to walk around all of the stands and to see different players from all over the world play is just a great atmosphere.
I imagine the U.S. Open or to any tennis match, going there in person to watch is much different than the experience you would have watching baseball or basketball, because there's all this ungapach at the stadiums, right? There's like games and gift shops and, take a picture here and throw this ball. Do they do they have that at the U.S. Open? Do they have like it turns into like Six Flags at a part of
No, it's really not the pomp and circumstance. It's really, it's just very calm. You can get these little headsets where you can hear the commentators, because a lot of times you're watching, but you want to know, right? Like, was it in? Was it out? Why are they talking? There's a lot of things we take for granted that when we watch television, especially now with the technology where you can see the ball.
They show lines
Oh
also.
my goodness.
Yeah.
And the ball in and how it's in by like a centimeter and things like that. So there are things that they have to enhance the in-person experience. It's still, I love being in person at live sporting events, but also, depending on your seats, I just love watching on TV too, because they make it so easy, especially football now. They've got the little line. They show you how much they need for the first down, and they're spoon feeding you. It's great. But I do love live events. I love going. Baseball's a whole different thing. It is literally like seeing a sporting event in the middle of a Cracker Jack box. You feel like there's things going on all the time.
Too much. Speaking of live events, and because I'm in the middle of it, I'm at the end stages of pre-production on Oscar and Ruby's Bar and Bat Mitzvah. And
Mazel tov.
Mom and Dad came in town I was in a comedy show with a headline. I opened for headliner Jesse Curson, and they also wanted to get talits for Oscar and Ruby, which are prayer shawls. So we went to Judaica Corner,
That's a
And
store in Atlanta?
yes, and a lot of the synagogues, they used to have gift shops, they've all shut down. There's maybe like 2 gift shops open in all of the synagogues in all of Atlanta, and they're all in like Sandy
That's
Springs.
sad because those synagogue gift shops were the best.
But
They had the best stuff.
But this Judaica Corner, it is like everything you could ever want. And it was the most wholesome experience. It was the most wholesome Jewish experience. Was not expecting this to happen. Oscar and Ruby, it was as if I took them into FAO Schwartz. It
Like
was,
they were excited.
They were so excited to see, like, Hamsa necklaces and pomegranate tzedakah boxes and Hanukkah menorahs, and you can register. They're like, you can register for your bar and bat mitzvah. So they just picked out stuff they wanted and they put it on a shelf.
Okay, that's awesome.
There's so much stuff. And so I'm there with, Aaron's there too. Their mom and dad, Oscar and Ruby. Murray's at home. He calls me and he's like asking about breakfast. And by mistake, I'm like, yeah, we got bacon, turkey.
Kosher turkey bacon.
It's
actually soy product. It's kosher and kosher for Passover.
The women who run the store, they're definitely like Orthodox, So I'm like, yeah, we got bacon. And I'm making eye contact with one of them as I like turn my head and I'm like, turkey bacon. The OU turkey bacon from Empire that they sell at the kosher Kroger down the street. That's exactly what my child is making. So they loved Oscar so much. Both Ruby and Oscar started looking at jewelry. Oscar's looking at all these rings. And I go, I'm pretty sure those are wedding bands, Oscar. And then one of the women was like, you are so sweet. Would you like a ring?
They wanted to just give him a ring.
They gave him a ring. It was like the equivalent of like a Jewish NFL ring.
Oh my gosh, that is hysterical.
He's been wearing it around. It's got Jewish stars all over it. It's really very funny. I mean, seriously,
good for him.
I thought it was so cute. They were so excited.
Well, the B'nai Mitzvah is sort of like winning the Super Bowl, so that ring is appropriate.
Yeah, I'm ready for the halftime show.
And then you're done. So you're done. You get to have 2 events for 3 children.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Efficient.
Multiples. You're so smart.
I'm just such a good project manager, and I wanted 3 kids that I did 2 at the same time.
Right.
Done. Hey, did I tell you the story about what happened when they came home from Sunday school when they were like 7, super excited that they didn't have to share their bar and bat mitzvah? They're like, oh my God, we just found out. Girls have their bat mitzvah at 12. Boys have it at 13. So, Mommy, we don't have to share.
Mm.
And I looked at them. I said, here's the thing. You either have to share your bar and bat mitzvah or you have to share your wedding. But
it's easier to schedule the bar and bat mitzvah at the same time.
I was like, you have to decide right now what we're going to do. So,
oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
They each had a different answer.
Come on. Who said what?
Who do you think? Who do you think said, I'll share my wedding?
Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ruby's like, what? What the heck? That's not happening. I'm not sharing my wedding with you.
No way.
The womb was enough.
Yeah. Well, you're planning the B'nai Mitzvah. I'm still trying to get the last chicken out of the nest. He leaves in a little bit, but while he's departing, I've been cleaning out the nest. This is my big thing that I just want all this out. And one of the things I'm trying to clean out is our exercise room. And I've got this giant piece of equipment. I mean, it is giant. I don't use it. Yeah.
It's like the NordiTrack.
It's like,
whatever,
it's got all these components to it. I actually bought it for Alan. I want to say when we were only in the house a year. This is probably 22 years ago. I surprised him and had the people bring it in. I mean, I don't even know how I orchestrated all this. But now that thing's been sitting there for 22 years and I want it out of there. And now I don't know how to get rid of it. And someone suggested Facebook Marketplace, which I have never used.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Is it scary?
It's a nightmare. There's a guy on TikTok who all he does is make Facebook Marketplace. He does these act outs with real conversations people have with crazy people. I sold something on there. I sold a trumpet on there, and I had issues with this woman who she was like, got my number, and she wouldn't stop talking to me about it.
Oh.
Right? She's like, I have to get it fixed. How much does that pay? How much is that? I'm like, do your research. I'm like,
The trumpet is yours now, lady.
it is yours. She kept on, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, lady. I got it fixed beforehand. And she's like, why? What if they're taking advantage of me? I go, I don't know. I'm not your friend. Go work it out.
Well, and
I'm
the
a
problem is
stranger.
somebody would have to come to my house to get this equipment. It's not like I'm going to meet them. But someone suggested, I mean,
Oh.
for other things that, did you know that there are some of the police stations in towns have a designated parking space just for this purpose?
Oh,
To
no.
trade out like that. Apparently it says, sort of like the the designated spaces at the grocery that say for pregnant women or for takeout.
There's
Like
one
this,
for
this
meeting
is for a meeting for Facebook Marketplace or ordering
or
things online.
Craigslist. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think that's
so
brilliant.
when you post something above a certain dollar amount, you will get scammed.
Oh,
And it'll seem so you have to be careful because people will be like, hey, I'd like this, but then they'll want to do like a cashier's check. Something will feel off. Aaron tried to sell one of his bikes and he said, I've only gotten contacted by scammers.
oh, that's good to know.
And
I'm
they
definitely not doing that.
and and this is word to the wise, if you're trying to sell something on Facebook Marketplace and someone wants you to communicate with them off of Facebook Marketplace, that's a scam.
Okay.
If someone's like, I'm interested, here's my number, call me or text me, that's a scam. They want to go off. Like Facebook there's some sort of protection, not like they won't give you your money back if you sell something to someone and don't get the money or
Right.
whatever, but stay on Facebook Marketplace if you're doing that. And if someone's from another state, don't do it.
Well, the funny thing is, the only time I've ever even been on Facebook Marketplace was in the middle of the pandemic. I redid our fireplace. We had never used our fireplace. I think I talked about this, and we had the chimney redone and everything insulated, and finally I could use it. And I didn't have a screen for the front, and I was very specific. I had this image in my head of something very plain that would go in front. I didn't want like we used to have the ones that had the like chain link like screen,
Yes,
and
get
you have
stuck.
to on either side, and you have to pull it and yank it and they fall
Yeah.
off. Yes, it's such
Yeah,
I just wanted
so
one thing I
annoying.
could move back and forth. I found it, but it was like on Restoration Hardware and they never sold it. They stopped selling it. So then I start going down. Of course, I had to have this one Restoration Hardware screen, and I found it on Facebook Marketplace. And the person was basically like, my wife bought this. When we got out of the box, she realized she didn't really want it, so we put it back in the box. So it's literally never been used, but it's open. We'll sell it for, it was like half price. I'm like, perfect.
Nice.
So I'm communicating. It seems legit. I didn't even think about this possibly being a scam. Great. He's like, you know what? I'm happy to meet you somewhere. I'm like, that's awesome. He goes, I'll meet you. How about at, Libertyville Deli? And I'm like, I've literally, what's Libertyville Deli? I've never heard of that. So finally I go, I'm so sorry. I was like, maybe they live like in Ottawa or Saudi Days, like a part of Chattanooga I hadn't heard about. Oh no, they lived in Kansas. So
no, you had gone out of your district.
I had gone out of my district, and I didn't
your
realize
zone.
it. So we're both sort of Facebook Marketplace laughing about it.
Yeah.
And then he said, okay, clearly we're not going to be meeting at the deli or whatever it was called. And but then he shipped it to me and it was all good.
Oh.
So yeah. So it did work out. So I'm 100% satisfaction and
Yeah,
and
this woman,
good experience.
I am very clear that where you can pick it up, and that's from me.
Right.
Right? And in a neutral zone, but where in my town.
Yes.
And she lived 90 minutes or something
Oof.
crazy. And I kept on saying to her, you should find I go, there's other people selling trumpets.
Yeah.
Find someone who's closer to you. Because she kept on complaining. She's like, can we meet in the middle? I go, nope. You can meet here. I go, I was very clear. I go, if this doesn't work for you, that's fine. I knew I could sell it to someone else. And then she was late. It was like, and then she told me this sob story, like she wanted a discount. And I'm like, okay, if you want to negotiate with someone, you don't wait until you're meeting them in person. You
Right.
do that. This is a tip. I'm really good at negotiating. People think, and it's because I don't negotiate. I'm like, nope, this
Right.
is the price. If it's firm, if that doesn't work for you, go find
Move
another
on.
one.
Right.
And I do research. I'm like, I'm the only one selling this thing
Mm-hmm.
within 30 miles. So I'm going to hedge my bets that they do not want to drive to, Podunk, Georgia to go get whatever they need.
Yeah. What about the other thing that's happening on Facebook is sometimes I feel like I'm getting stalked by people I don't know that will find does this happen to you? Like every so often I'll see that someone has found like my public post. Like if something is like for an event, nothing
Oh.
really overly personal, but all of a sudden one person will like 20 posts that I've done in the past 2 years, but
Oh.
all in a row.
And you don't know
So,
them?
well, or maybe I know them, but we're not friends. But all of a sudden they've decided they're going to go on my Facebook page clearly and look at everything
Right.
that they possibly can look. That freaks me out too.
Yeah. There's like all these like unwritten rules about not going back and liking old posts of people because they
Yeah.
feel like you're stalking them.
It
But
is. It feels eerie because I'm like, I'm like, I didn't post anything in the past 6 months. Oh, that's from 2018. Wow,
yeah,
they went way back.
they're checking you out. No,
Yeah.
that's happened to me before once in a while. But
And by
yeah,
the way, if you are checking someone out and you're liking their post, people get notifications about that. So if you think you're being slick, right, and going, "Oh, I'll just like this now," but they won't realize it. No, 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 no. That's like a serious red flag.
yeah. Speaking of red flags, that that's something I should have noticed was, and by the way, this was not my brightest idea, but I happened to be on this rescue site for pets where we got
I
Kebu
was gonna say, are
from,
you getting another dog?
and I was just looking for fun. And
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
they
This is
have
how
a
it
lot
starts.
they have a lot of labs, and we grew up with a lab. Kebu's a lab, and they're just so special. And there was the most adorable yellow lab. He was so cute, and his name was Arthur.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Arthur and I send a picture to Aaron
Oh.
and I go, look at Arthur. He's so cute. And then the next day we get a notification that this rescue group is trying to get rid of some dogs. Like they're closing down a location. They're like,
Okay.
hey, we'll do these. We're doing 50% off and da da. And they do training. It's a fabulous organization, right?
What's it
So
called?
I don't want to say because of the story I'm
Oh,
telling.
okay. I was like, we could promote them if you
Yeah.
want. Oh, no.
Yeah, but I don't want we'll just say
Is the
okay,
red
so
flag that they're having a fire sale for the dogs they're trying to rescue?
no,
Okay.
that was not. No, they were just trying to and guess what? Like we've got there's uh like Humane Society does this all the time where they're like the older dogs are there's no adoption fee. We'll waive
Right.
the adoption fee today because they get overrun. But so I put in an application, and Aaron and I are so excited. I know we're crazy, right? But the dog is not a puppy. He's like 5, 6 years old.
Right. So he fits in with your time frame of all dogs shall be gone as soon as kids are gone.
Yes, yeah. The right. So we can be empty nesters. So he's so cute, has the best face, and I fill out this application. It's an arduous process. I have to give them referrals. They call the referrals. They call me. I have to send them pictures of our fence line. Like they want to make sure that their dogs are going to good people.
Yeah.
So they call all my referrals. They tell me I got glowing reviews. They're awesome. They're like, is there a specific dog you're interested in? And I said, yeah. I said
Arthur.
I put in there Arthur. We're interested in Arthur. They go, okay, well, he's actually at our other location that's about 20 miles away, and he requires 2 weeks of training because he murdered 2 dogs.
What?
He was a dog murderer. He and his friend, who was also up for adoption, had attacked 2 small dogs and killed them. Right?
Okay,
So,
I did not realize this was going to turn into a true crime story.
yeah, it was true crime. So it makes Arthur's really happy picture even scary. He looks like Ted Bundy, a handsome dog, right? He's like the Ted Bundy of dogs, right?
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, I don't think that's that's a hard no for me, right?
Yeah.
And there's some people who can handle a dog in that situation, right? And they live far away from people. I'm right near a park. We've got 3-year-olds that share our fence. There's small dogs. People walk their little dogs past us all the time. And they're great with training, right? I'm not saying that this dog can't be rehabbed. I'm sure he can. But why am I going to take that chance?
No way.
No, I'm not bringing a dog murderer into my house. A murder dog. It's not a dog. He's a murder dog murderer. Right?
That is crazy.
Yeah. So he, and I've heard this
And
happening.
I've never heard of labs being that aggressive, though.
It may have been, I think it was a shock to the owners, and it may have, I think it only happened once, and it's just like a bad situation, where there's a small dog, it looks like a toy, maybe the person grabs it in a way that seems like it's a plaything, and it's an interaction that the dog could have with another dog, and the dog would be fine, but when it's a small dog, it ends up getting hurt. And there's like a pack mentality. I don't know. I don't know the situation. I just wasn't going to bring that into my situation.
Right now you're turning into one of those animated movies where we can see into the minds of the dogs of what happens. So. Not sure that's going to happen with Ted Barkey.
Yeah. Right? Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
gosh.
So no Ted Barkey for our house. But I said, Aaron, this makes it, knowing the backstory makes this picture of him it makes it creepy now. Because he's like, hi. Going to eat your dog, neighbors.
Why did they not present the full facts of the dog before you went through like a very laborious process in vetting to get that specific dog? You think once they saw it on your application, they'd go, before you go through all this, let us tell you about this.
Right. I was a little impatient because I was worried he was going to be adopted.
Somebody was going to get him, right? Nope, nobody's adopting Arthur.
So I had asked them, can I hop on the phone with you to talk about his temperament and what his personality is like? But then they had this thing that happened, and I was like, oh, we better put in our application. And it was like $10 for the application, So I was like, I'm just going to put the application in because I got so excited.
$10 and like 2 years later of forms.
Oh, there's so many questions, What were your favorite dog movies growing up?
No.
No, I'm joking. That was
gosh.
not in there. They're like psychologically analyzing your choices.
That's a lot to go through.
Benji. That's my answer.
Benji.
And
Lassie.
And also, if it counts, Annie.
Annie, for sure.
Annie was a dog movie.
Sandy.
There's an entire musical number dedicated to Sandy.
Yep. Dumb dog, why are you following me? I ain't got a crumb, dog.
Yeah. Let me be. I ain't gonna feed you. Ain't got a scrap for you. Need you.
Okay, we get it. We get it. Okay. Not only do you love dogs, but you aspired to be Annie your whole life. Annie. And we just found the intersection of those two passions.
I'm slowly dyeing my hair red. Do you know this?
Nope.
When I'm an old lady, I'm going to have red hair because right now, I'm using Madison Reed, okay? And the first color I used was way too dark. My hair used to have natural red highlights.
Till you beat it out of submission?
No, it turned gray.
Or beat it into submission?
Those are like the lighter hairs. I feel like any sort of natural highlights you have, those are the first to go gray and lose all their natural
luster
color. So I decided to do one step lighter, and it ended up having these red undertones in it. So now I have all these like red highlights like I used to have. So eventually my hair is going to be more gray and more red, and it'll be so subtle people will think I'm actually little orphan Annie all grown up. I'm like, hello, yes, I am Eileen Quinn.
Your hair is so large right now. I think it's eventually just going to take over Tokyo and fight Godzilla.
It is large. I like it. I built it that way.
I know. It's so funny. You make yours bigger and bigger, and all I want to do is like beat mine into submission so that it is as flat as possible.
I literally have a hair pick.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, why? I was on last summer when I was on the NBC pilot, I got to sit in a hair and makeup chair, and they got out a hair pick. And first of all, I was like, oh my God, this feels so good. Because they're like scratching my head. And then I was like, why have I never used a hair pick?
Right. It's perfect for you.
I've been trying to make my hair Jew-froey forever with just my fingers. And there's this magical tool that's existed since forever that now I use, and I have one, and I keep it in my car. I'm at a red light picking my hair out.
Oh my gosh, do not get that pick near me.
Well, if you've come this far, you're at the last minute mark of Sis Tell. If you're listening and you'd like a prize, send us an email.
Meet us at the police station in the Facebook Marketplace parking space. We've got a big surprise for you.
We're going to give you the same surprise that our mom gives us when we find her other earring, which
Exactly.
no
Still waiting on
surprise.
that.
Yeah,
No
still waiting for
surprise
that
at
to
all.
arrive in the mail.
Surprise. No surprise at all.
Thanks for listening to the latest Sis Tell podcast. Don't forget to share us with your friends, share us with your family, share us with your foes.
As always, this has been Amanda and Allison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.
Sis and Tell.